To catch everyone up to speed, I don't think you were here last week, Bruni. Does anyone want to recap what happened last week?
Basically, we were out watching bats, and then I think Mr. Olcox attacked us last night. We just stayed inside the whole night and prayed bat prayers. After that, we went around, I think, got breakfast, went around shopping, looked around for things to do, and we decided to head out into the forest to basically find. I think it was like we were looking around to find like Jay's wood or like find the creature that Mr. Olcox was afraid of, which is a creature that can climb. And during that, we found a woodpecker that was storing nuts and basically said they didn't like squirrels, and that if we helped them with their squirrel problem, the woodpecker would help us. And think it also led us directly to the actual blue jays themselves, or let us know of them, so that we could communicate with them, so that we have a way to communicate with, like, it's a gatekeeper for the Jays Wood community, so we're supposed to meet with them out the same time we met the Jays, Blue Jays, essentially. So we're gonna have a chat with them. I think it's gonna be like a riddle of some kind or something. And basically, we have a deal with the Blue Jays and the Woodpecker to go ahead and just deal with the squirrels. And if I remember, see anything else?
I think we met with the Blue Jays separately and then also agreed to help them with the squirrels. Pearl was on a tear and basically signed us up for a squirrel crusade.
Anti-Squirrel Crusade.
Yeah. We had one bad run-in with a ground squirrel. When was it? It was weeks ago in a garden, and it tried to hunt down the party as well as the mice we were rescuing. And so yeah, now squirrels are all bad.
We're going to slowly thread a system of alliances together, and it's going to be the owls and the squirrels and the cats versus the mice and the rabbits and the frogs and the bats.
Oh, jeez, this is some like end game chaos.
Got to think about the end game. Yeah, we were going to come up with a plan to hopefully. Squirrels are problems for two different kinds of birds, the blue jay and the red bird, and so maybe we could make them both happy, and then we'll have like air support, even more air support.
That'll give you, what is it? 3 types of birds, and then if you happen to find bats, that'll be 4.
Yeah, amazing.
Jeez. It's like, man, Mr. Alcox must be pretty bad. What do you do? Raise all the taxes?
Well, he ate what's her name's boyfriend, literally. So
Poppy's boyfriend Ragweed got eaten.
Oh my
and,
god!
Right in front of her, which is part of what started the whole thing. Her family asked to go get food, and they were turned down because she and her boyfriend had defied him. He has a series of rules that the Mouse of Greyhouse were supposed to abide by. If you don't abide by it, well, bad things happen. A porcupine or whatever will get you. In reality, it was him. He got you.
Oh my god!
But once he figured out what the party was doing and that they were, in fact, I think it was our lovely porcupine friend Irith who brought you to his attention. He has been hunting the party, going out of his way to hunt the party at night.
Jeez.
You can be out at night, but it's at your own peril because he has a general idea.
Dear Lord.
He's a lovely, fluffy fellow.
He probably has a tragic backstory written somewhere back there.
That would be funny if the author ever did that.
To be fair, it's a children's novel, so typically speaking means like they're just villains just because they're villains. So I haven't seen one so far as like, oh, like I think the most tragic backstory is like, I think for like just off the top of my head, Silverwing, one of the villains is like, oh, they're a lab experiment, they were experimented on. Like, okay, yeah, but they're still trying to kill literally all the other bats. So I mean.
The funny thing about the Poppy book, and I haven't done it so much in this, is it does go into his thought processes. Like, you will read little paragraphs that are from his point of view, his reasoning of why he's doing what he's doing. it doesn't excuse it sometimes at all. It's just like, this is the way he runs things, and he just needs it to be this way, and this is why he's concerned about this, or like it kind of doesn't excuse him from being a villain, but it's like, this is kind of why he,
Yeah.
But it
That
would
would
be
be
cool to have
interesting
a
to hear.
villain backstory.
I fully plan to read the books after we're done with this. I just don't want to spoil it right
Yeah.
now. So
I've pulled bits and pieces, like the ending to Mr. Olcox. Poppy got it, I think, in book 1. She did something unique. But yeah, it is there are some deeper concepts in it. Like, I would let my kids read this now that they're older, elementary or teens. But she's got a whole series. The 2 that I'm using for this part of the quest are here. But she does deal with like death of a family member, death of a loved one, what to do when you're just like, all the odds are against you. And just like
Jeez.
really deep concepts, and goes into, again, the back, like, what is the villain thinking? Why is he being a bully or picking on someone? There doesn't always have to be a good reason. Irith
What's this
features
book
a
series
lot more
called?
in them too. It's called Poppy. It's by, the author's name is Avi, or Avi. And then her illustrator has done, like, there's little pictures all throughout the books
Ooh.
of, it goes into, I also haven't gone into Poppy quite as much because of, I want to be focused on the party a bit more. But Poppy in the book is very fleshed out. I loved the character depth, and you really care about them. And Irith is a little prick. He is cranky all the time, but funny cranky. But yeah, she has, I think it's a 6-book series.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to give this a read because
Some of the
I'm
map
trying to.
I have, most of the map that I have, is actually based on the book. And then
Ooh.
there's a whole series of events. Like, if I wanted to campaign this out for another year, like, there's things that happen in these books that are just like, how on earth are you going to survive something of this magnitude as a mouse? One of them is like a forest fire. Like,
Oh
how are you
God.
as a mouse going to survive a forest fire? Oh, and your family's in there.
Oh God.
Yeah. So this is like all really good Mausritter stuff, and I could pull a couple more campaigns out of this. But I recommend her books. They're really, really good.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to give them a read. I just
But
started
there's like 5
rereading
or
Warriors.
6. And yeah, I'd love to read, I think it's Redwall at some point
Uh-huh.
too, because that's really good for Mausritter.
Oh yeah.
So that's also on my to-do list. But anyway, oh, and also for Bruni, we do have a market in Creekside. We discovered just why we don't actually buy anything with pips last week. It is prohibitively expensive.
Oh God.
We do have pips if you are like, I really need this, or my mouse would really want this. Though it may be better if you, the group found like, oh, if we need this, we will simply trade favors to get it. Like, I think, was it twine we needed, and so we collected fern, which we haven't traded back yet.
yeah.
But
Interesting.
you can go and say, oh, hey, this vendor wants this item, or this vendor needs this task done, and in exchange I get this item that I really need. So if there's something you want for your mouse, that is a recommended way to do it. I think Pearl and Poppy have pips left, but again, things are kind of pricey for pips. They usually barter for the reason that it's a lot of pips.
Ooh. I will definitely keep that in mind. Like, oof.
Yeah, a lot of Mausritter is barter based, or like, you'll do a favor for somebody and then they do a favor for you back. So
Okay. Nice.
all right. So starting off, let's see. I think I'm going to take Ross's idea up and try group color. I've never done that before. I wasn't really sure why group colors were, except for that it helped keep it more organized, I guess. But I think it does maybe help with the flow. So I didn't know if I had a volunteer for that tonight, or I could pick someone to be group color for the night.
Well, since I just returned, I would voluntarily back out since I'm not entirely up to speed. I don't want to doom the party to unfortunate events against their crusade against squirrels.
I felt like a blabbermouth last session, so I picked someone else.
Yeah, I think Hazel had a lot of good ideas last time. Unless she doesn't want to.
I've never been a group caller before. What's involved?
So the general idea is when it comes down to decision time, you would be the one to make the final decision. Like, okay, where's the group going to go? Or what are you going to do right now? You are allowed to ask everyone in the party real quick. Okay, what does everyone think? Or what do you all think we should? Where do you think we should go next? Do you think we should approach this noise that we hear? You can ask, but then the default decision comes down to you of your mouse going, yes, we're going to do this, or no, we're not. To keep the pace going and keep it organized. But you don't have to do it by yourself and make all the decisions by yourself. You can ask the other mice and say, hey, what does everyone think? Oh, most of us want to do this. Well, let's go do that.
Yeah.
Or there may be
basically,
something your mouse feels strongly about and you're like, well, we're doing this.
Yeah, basically, we just offer suggestions, and it comes down to you to pick what you want us to do. Pretty much what the whole group decides.
It's like a lot of responsibility, but if you guys want me to, I can give it a go.
It's a lot
If
easier
it
than
helps,
it
the
sounds.
last time I was group caller, I got us lost in the woods in a different game. So, you know, we got lost and we're wandering around at night and we could hear things that were like, crazy stuff happens either way. So no one's going to be mad if something happens because of a decision, because we've all done that.
Yes.
It definitely makes for a more interesting story. So
It does. It was like, oh, okay. All right. So I will just make a note of that. Hazel is group color for tonight. All right. And I'm trying to remember. We returned to the marsh, if I remember right, after the Jays. Yes?
Yeah,
For dinner.
I think. Yeah.
And then dinner and sleeping, because we're not sleeping in the woods. Okay. All right. So you make it back to Creekside. And you have with you on your little bugs, we have Thistle and we have our stink bug. Squint? Where? Squint. We collected the requested fern leaf tips to exchange with the vendor. It is probably around dinner time. What do we want to do first?
when is the market open? Is it just in the mornings?
I would say the market, being that it's like a dockside community, they're probably open until, because the fishermen are coming in and checking gear and all of that. They'd probably be open into closer to sunset and then shut down shop. So they would still be open now and then probably a little after dinner.
What do you guys think? Should we go take care of the fern leaf tips we collected, and maybe Bernie or Tank need something?
Yeah, let's wrap up business there, and I'm not sure if we need anything else or there's like any materials else we need, because I think I'm not sure if either Pearl said we need materials for an idea or something, or but I think we might have everything we need, I think.
Yeah, I think we were replacing the twine that we'd lost.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't know if there's... I'm trying to find my research.
Well, I know we had some crazy idea before about setting up a camp in the trees, but that was before we met Mr. Red. So we probably he's just gonna look at a Pearl. So Pearl, are we still planning to camp out in the tree, or is that an idea we're not going with anymore?
Pearl had proposed that maybe we could find a way to help the birds dissuade the squirrels from eating their acorns in return for some sort of alliance. But I don't know, maybe that seems like a bigger goal than, trying to find the mice of Jay's Wood? Is it Jay's Wood?
Yeah, Jay's Wood.
Yeah. Yeah. I might be falling prey to kind of a squirrel.
Literally.
So no, that might be a good goal eventually if we could come up with, maybe if we keep our eye out, we can come up with a cool solution to gain the support of the birds. But seems like we've got the mice in Jay's Wood, and we're trying to find whatever this creature is. So we still haven't. It's not clear to me. Hopefully the mice know.
Yeah. So we shouldn't worry about trying to collect gear to hang out in the trees anymore. Then we just need our twine, or my twine.
Yeah, that was red, right? In the tree, as it turned out, I think.
Yeah.
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 They speak fluent mice. Mouse. Speak mouse, I mean.
Okay, well, I think Hazel's gonna head down to the docks to the marketplace and just trade in the fern leaf tips for the twine, and then we'll go from there.
So you're able to get 2 lengths of twine for all of your efforts, which is more than you had originally lost in the first place. So you now have extra twine.
Okay, very nice.
And she's absolutely delighted. You collected such nice leaf tips. She says to be sure to check back in case there's anything else you need. I'm sure we can ask around and find someone willing to help you out, since you seem so reliable and obviously have an eye for detail.
I will most certainly do that.
Okay. It is dinner time, and most of the mice are headed towards the inn for food, though there are some, like Lotus and Barley, that prefer to eat in the coziness of their own little mouse hole. Where are you all wanting to eat tonight?
Are we brave enough to try the tavern? They might have bugs again.
Or smelly fish things.
Didn't we have something that wasn't too bad last night, as I recall? I seem to recall Hazel wasn't too perturbed by it.
Oh, I think, didn't we stay at no.
I think we
I think we split up, didn't we? Some of us went
That's
to
right.
Lotus's, and some of us went to go try
Lotus.
the new food. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
we split up. I remember that.
okay.
We could try the tavern. I mean, they might know how the squirrel situation is, possibly.
Oh yeah, we should ask around and see what people have heard.
That's an excellent idea.
Since we are forming the Anti-Squirrel Coalition.
I support having allies in our anti-squirrel quest.
Well, watch the squirrels turn out to be like not even, you know what I mean? And then it's like we'll feel bad.
Anti-Squirrel Coalition, and there's so many layers because beneath that is a bat cult, And beneath that is a plot to undo the hegemony of an owl power underneath it all. There's so many layers to this. I'm sorry.
Watch us squirrels be the secret to defeating Mr. Olcox.
Oh no. That's the creature all along. Oh no.
I mean, it was obvious right in front of her face. I mean, but we had a white snake tell us, so who knows?
The snake was not specific.
It was very vague.
Just that they climb a tree, right? So
I'm excited about the Anti-Squirrel, the ASC as a working title though, because we haven't had an adventuring group name.
ooh,
We are the mail
Perfect.
mice because we're delivering mail, I guess, as one of our things we're setting up. So I don't know.
That's something else we could check on too, was the letter progress, if there's a stack of letters waiting for us.
Oh yeah.
All hate mail.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's good if it's hate mail. That means that we're, we have notoriety. The really sad thing is if there is no mail.
oh man, yeah. Not even like advertisements.
Or the flip side is you have a couple bunny carts full. That would also be entertaining.
I'm
This
sorry
is-
if I am tearing up and rubbing my eyes. I spent like 30 minutes. My toddler isn't in tumbling class anymore, and at the time it was just roll over, and so now we're doing it in the grass, and now my eyes are like on fire because I rolled around. Fat ass 40-year-old man rolling around in the grass for 30 minutes straight. My eyes are burning on fire now.
Oh goodness!
So I'm sorry,
I
the
can
whole
relate.
session I'm just like this. Oh, my eyes. That's
I hate
why.
to be the bearer of bad news, but we'll probably be walking through more grass tonight.
Oh no, Pearl. It's in character. Pearl is also allergic to the moss grass, the swamp grass.
oh god.
It's the swamp in particular for some reason. It's just real pungent. She's had a hard time here with the cuisine, the swamp,
The squirrels.
squirrels. Okay, I'm sorry. I promised I would be quiet.
It's not in her
I'm
top
not-
10 retirement list areas, and she's very much looking forward to going back and teaching away in the swamp.
Perfect.
All right, so we decided on the inn then, or the tavern.
All right. She reluctantly eventually just goes along with it.
Hazel's
Alright.
like, it's not that bad, Pearl. It's not that bad. Come on.
Okay. She steps in the door, checks the smell. Does it smell like crawfish?
So when you go in the door, you're greeted by obviously a bit of a fishy scent. Not quite as bad as the crawfish, not anywhere near as bad, but you recognize the other scent
Proceed slowly.
from Brambly Hedge as potatoes. You are very, very certain that you smell potatoes,
Ooh.
which is a bit of a reprieve from some of the stranger delicacies like cattails, roots, fried. Tonight
Ooh.
is a variation on fish and chips, where they have cooked up thin little wedges of potatoes. Think like a size of a cheese shred. Little wedges of mouse-sized potato bits, and they've also fried up some fish fry, and fried them up in bits so that they're not overwhelmingly fishy, and you have that pleasant fried flavor. And you notice on the side they have like a little dessert bowl of some sweetened seeds, like roasted seeds with a bit of sweetness, but you're not exactly sure what that flavor is. It's not honey, but it's not something you've tasted before, likely.
Is this something that Oliver has had before?
Let's see. Are you Creekside or up north?
I think we said Creekside when I met everybody in the
Okay, so
farm field.
here's the thing. You would likely have an idea of what this is, but it is not commonly discussed. It's kind of a hush-hush.
Ooh.
But this little delicacy is something that, as a mouseling, you looked forward to any time they had it. And you believe it is something called syrup, and it is gotten through secret trade with the secret mice of the wood, as all the adults would ever tell you.
Ooh.
And it is very rare. It doesn't happen very often, maybe once or twice a year. Or at special events like the Catfish Festival, they will have these special sweetened roasted seeds. But because there's so very little of it that gets out of the wood, it is not something that is traded or known to Brambley Hedge or Prairie Grove. So you would be familiar with it a little bit.
Okay. All right. Well, Oliver will just smile and keep the secret, but also just suggest that everybody from not from Creekside, they should definitely have a taste of this delicious meal. That they would not regret it.
Well, if it's sweet, I know Hazel's going to be all over it because she likes sweet things. So dip her finger in and, oh, it's very sweet.
Perfect.
All right. So the meal tonight is actually probably, depending on what your Mausch's fish scale is, it is actually on the more palatable side. It is nowhere near as fishy as the crawfish was, or some of the other fish. The potatoes are welcome. There's no butter on them, but they are definitely fluffy and cooked nicely, and can be mixed with the fish to make it less fishy. And then there's the delightful rare dessert. The room is full of mice. Is there anyone you're wanting to talk to while you are here before they start filing out after dinner?
Yeah, we should try to see if you can find someone who... Don't think we know anyone specific, but we should probably find someone to talk about the squirrels, maybe. And this is just something this is probably just like a little thing that came up or not, but I'm just sort of curious, or at least like Jerry is, if he's heard of it or not. There's probably just like more inside secret with Creekside, the secret mice of the woods. So I don't know if that's just like a little thing where it's like it's a fairy tale they tell like the mouse children or something.
Okay. Well, if you look down your table, to the left, you see some mice that are, from the smell of them, you're pretty sure they're fisher mice. They have mud on their feet and on the bottom of their overalls. And they definitely have a nice fishy smell. They're commenting on the fish meal, talking about biggest catches and whatnot. To your right, down the other side of the table, you see mice also in overalls, but you're guessing not fisher mice. There's not much mud on them, but they are dusty and seem to have bits of husks or plant matter, like moss, just caught on their overalls here and there, or you're wondering if one knows they have what appears to be a kernel of a seed stuck behind their ear in their fur.
Well, if nothing else, it'd probably be like a good idea to talk to them, and maybe they don't know about the squirrels, but maybe we can just pique Jerry's curiosity, at least, like see like if they know where the seeds come from, or like where they get trade from it, since there's not many sweet things here.
So which batch of mice are you talking to?
The ones where like the little bit has a little bit of moss on them and looks like it looks like it has a seed like in their ear or something. So like one that looks like they might have had contact with it maybe.
Okay. So you go to strike up a conversation with these mice, and lo and behold, this pair is quite an interesting duo. One of them, you're delighted to learn, is actually Buckthorn. You may have heard his name pop up if you think back and remember in conversations with Barley talking about his brother, Buckthorn. This may be the same mouse. And he is talking to another mouse who apparently doesn't have many friends here, which is why Buckthorn is sitting with him. The other mouse's name is Cattail. He gets teased pretty hard for not having a job in Creekside, whereas all the other mice have a trade where they go out to the wheat fields and collect wheat, or they go out to the fishing, or they go collect reeds and whatnot.
He's the town
Cattail,
bum.
he's a mouse nerd, if you will. He wants to know why and how and study things.
He's a
He can
scholar.
spend a whole day sitting on a rock looking around, and to earn his living, he's a bit of a forager and tries to find unusual things because they not only catch his fancy, but they also happen to sell enough in the marketplace where he can get a bite to eat.
Ooh.
But most of the other mice find him kind of odd, which is why Buckthorn is sitting with him so that he's not alone.
Sounds like potential NPC party material.
Sounds like someone who might be in need of a cult.
Yes.
Yes, the best people to induct in a cult, the sad, lonely people with no friends.
Yes. Perfect.
Marigold, maybe he knows about bats.
Yes. I mean, who's the bat expert here in the group?
That would probably be Marigold.
Yeah,
That
a
is
resident
Marigold.
bat cultist with the. She's got a necklace of bat teeth, if I remember right.
I have a bag with 43 bat teeth in it.
He is our
Minus the
magic
two I
user.
gave to other mice for protection against Mr. Olcox because they're magical teeth that will protect you from harm.
Jeez.
And if we can make contact with the bat colony, don't ask.
Oh god. Sounds like some Monster Hunter material here.
Facts behind Marigold too, there's a reason she carries the tablets, is because when she uses them, her rolls are amazing. We all attribute it to the bat magic, and anytime she's used magic missile, it has been devastating.
Oh god.
Nobody messes with Marigold.
Yeah.
Daddy
Bad.
miss. Well, maybe you should go up and talk to him and maybe gain another disciple for the bat cult.
Marigold will walk up and sit next to him.
You sit next to him, and he's immediately kind of like fidgety. He's not used to having other mice friends, and he's unsure what to do with two mice who seem to be interested in him tonight. So he kind of looks over. Oh,
Well, Marigold will.
hi. Do I have something you need? Can I help you?
Oh well, we're visitors here to this town. I'm Marigold, by the way. What's your name?
Oh, I'm Cattail. It's nice to meet you. You say you're visitors from where?
Yes, we're from the new farm, and we're here to bring some of the goods we have. Maybe start some trade. We brought some letters. We came with a friend, Lotus, just running errands.
So you are normal business mice, I see.
Well, not really. We've been wanderers for a while, but we're trying to do some good while we travel.
When you say wanders, his eyes kind of light up a bit.
Why,
Yes.
yeah,
It's
just
real a bit.
just recently, actually, we've had quite a bit of adventure recently. We had to make a bargain with some crows to keep this owl away from us. He's been trying to get us for some time. He's been very upset with us. And we spoke with a porcupine, very prickly creature, metaphorically and, of course, in person. We had to find this snake, this little snake character that was unnecessarily difficult to find. You'd think there would just be a sign, but no. Anyway, we gave it something shiny, and it gave us some information. Actually, some very vague information. It didn't really help us a lot. We should have just kept the shiny thing. Then we found another snake that tried to eat us. That was terrifying, but we stabbed that one. We should just have a stabbing snakes policy. I think it would turn out better. Marigold's got these things a little out of order.
That's our next crusade. Okay, we're on these squirrels for right now.
His eyes have gotten wide. He goes, oh, so you're not business mice. You're not normal mice at all. Why, I imagine you must have come across quite a few interesting things. I mean, meeting porcupines and snakes and crows, and most mice would be terrified and never go out again, I dare say. But did you find anything interesting in your travels?
Well, we found a lot of things, and I guess some of them were interesting. What kind of things do you think were interesting?
Oh, I'm... well, you can ask Buckthorn here, but I'm a bit of an oddball. I find myself fascinated with things that don't normally grow or exist in certain areas. Things that other mice might be afraid of, I guess. I like to wander and look at the sky and learn about where I am, and I've found some interesting things before, but like snake skin. Not a live one, thankfully. I don't know what I'd do if I found a live one. And well, I've wandered into the wood a few times, but I try not to talk about that here. It'd draw a few stares.
Do you know anything about the bats? And Marigold gets this gleam in her eye and starts like twisting her fingers. Her tail's like curling.
Are you referring to those flying nightwings?
Why, yes, I am. We call them
they
bats
are
where I came from.
They are indeed beautiful, and most mice only appreciate them for their beauty. But did you know they're actually very, very smart?
Why, they're magical. Marigold's eyes get big.
It is
You hear
my
the bat
guess
keeps clinking as she moves over.
that they
Edging
can
it a little
find
too
their
close
way
for
by
comfort.
sound. Can you believe that sound? Whereas we mice cannot move in the dark, bats can move in complete dark. And not only that, we can use them as a danger alert. If they all disappeared, then you know that you're about to. So,
That's because they have
well,
ESP.
bats are quite fascinating. Can you imagine what you could see if you could fly like one? Then
Marigold
again,
gets
that
a
would be
dreamy look
awfully
in
up
her eyes.
high. But I do know at least the direction that they go. I've kind of walked that way a couple times, but I've never had the nerve to go all the way there myself. I
Well, if
don't
you
even
do
know what
know,
I would say or do
would
if I found a bat, now that I think about it.
I would very much like to meet one. Perhaps someday we can go together and follow your trail and see where they end up.
Oh, we could. It's all in my head. I I just kind of memorize where things are.
Marigold's gotten kind of distracted at this point with the mention of the bat, so she's gonna kind of look over at the others because she kind of remembers she was supposed to ask him a question, but she doesn't remember what it was now. The bat thing got her completely derailed.
Oliver will just take a look over and see that, Marigold's distracted, but it looks like you got him fascinated, and just trying to wave them both over to their table.
Marigold will wave
He's
back
at
and
your
turn back
table. If
around.
you think about it like a long table, like a set of picnic tables, basically. And
Oh,
he's just
okay.
down your table to the right.
Wow. Okay, well, I guess
But
Oliver
he's
will
more
just.
like off by himself a little bit with Buckthorn because he's a bit
He's
of an awkward
unique.
mess. Yes.
Yeah. Well then, Oliver will just neatly, put his plate away after eating and stand up and come over and say, "Wow, Marigold, you've met Cattail and Buckthorn. Man, how have you been lately, Buckthorn?"
And Buckthorn is kind of like leaning over to give you a high five across the table. Hey, man, it's been awesome. Foraging's been good. We made a big wheat haul today. We're gonna have so much wheat for this winter. I mean, I don't
Oh
know
man.
about you. I love the fish here, but man, you need biscuits or something.
Oh yeah, and Oliver will, return his high five and say like, "Man, I know what you mean." And he'll kind of lean in conspiratorially, like, and just whisper, "We're actually trying to go into the Jay's Wood to look for the mice there. Something about how they've had a problem with squirrels, and
Oh.
I'm not sure what's going on there. Do you have any idea about what they could be talking about? Have you been in the Jay's Wood recently?"
No, when you mention this, Buckthorn kind of gets a little quiet. He goes, not supposed to talk about that in here, but I bet, we get out of earshot, maybe we might be able to have something that'll help you. But he's kind of looking around at other mice. Goes, I mean, no offense to Cattail here, but if the other harvesters find me talking about that kind of thing, I'll be working my leaf haul alone.
Ah, I totally understand. How about we meet after our meal here? Outside, maybe? Just outside of town? And no one, will get the wrong idea about you, Buckthorn?
And at this, Cattail goes, well, I know a spot not too far away. I mean, we wouldn't have to go out of town, but if you walk through the cattails, there's this rock where you can sit on, and you're surrounded by cattails, and usually nobody goes over there. It's not too far, and we don't have to go all the way out of town. What with it
Okay.
getting dark and the big thing that flew through last night, well, it might be best not to go out too far.
Ah, yes. Well, we can meet you at the rock, and that big thing might also be why these out-of-towners are here as well, but I'll leave that up to them to tell you all, as I've just recently met them and don't know their entire story. Would you be willing to meet them out on the rock inside the cattails?
I'm guessing you're talking to the group with that one?
I thought he was talking to Buckthorn.
I thought it was talking like you see, it was okay with meeting the entire group instead of just meeting with just sorry, I forgot your
Yes.
mouse's name, or just so instead of like, is it okay with like the talk the whole group instead of just the one mouse?
Yeah, I was asking Buckthorn and Cattail if they would like to meet the out-of-towners at the Taoist meditation rock between the cattails.
Cattail agrees. He knows exactly where this is, and he's excited to show other mice his secret hiding spot. Buckthorn agrees because it's quiet, and other mice probably won't notice or suspect too much.
Well, Oliver will smile and say, "Perfect. I will let our new friends know about this meeting, and we will meet you out there after everybody's had their fill of food. And with that, Oliver will just give us a polite bow and return to where everybody else is sitting. And then he'll say, well, I think I've got a lead for you all about your two certain problems dealing with the large furry creatures and some certain townsfolk inside a certain wood. I'll whisper and wink.
Pearl tightens up her blouse and she's like, I don't like all this secrecy. Ugh. This makes me uncomfortable.
Well, us Creekside folk are a little tight-lipped about a few things. And if they hear one of us just blabbering out in the open about any of this, they'll count us as some of the weird folk and not
Marigold is
work with us.
taking notes to improve the bat cult.
Now we know how to convert the whole town. In time. Drive a wedge between the establishment mice and and the weird mice.
Perfect.
This is turning into a really spooky mouse game. I also have to
Into
pee,
a
I'm
little
really sorry.
chaos.
I'll be right back.
Okay. So, everyone is finishing up dinner. Some of the mice are starting to leave. You see that Cattail and I just like his name, Buckthorn, head out. Is there anything else you want to do, or are you finishing up eating before heading to the meeting spot?
I mean, Hazel's all over that dessert, so
Politely all over
Anyone
that
else has
dessert.
any?
she's just like, can't get enough of it, so she might have seconds if they'll let her. She's gonna, wipe her whiskers, because I'm imagining she's a little sticky and should. So we're supposed to meet them, after we eat, and not draw attention. Should we all go as a group, or should we break up into smaller groups? Do you think there's 8? There are 8 of us, or 9. I can't remember now. There's a few of us.
I think two groups going, each of us with each of us locals guiding the group should be okay. I mean, it shouldn't be too hard to find this rock.
Yeah, I'm not worried about finding it. I'm just thinking about drawing attention of all of us. Where are they going? What are they up to? But maybe they don't care.
Yeah, we'll just tell them that we're us locals are giving the out of towners a small tour of the town.
Really excellent idea. Can I get seconds here? Dessert?
They don't have seconds for dessert, but Chicory hasn't finished his, and he gladly gives you what's left because it's a little sweet for him.
Oh, thank you, Chicory. And she's just gonna.
He prefers his burnt berries.
Yeah, she's just gonna dive right into it.
All right.
Perfect.
So you're able to wash up in a little water barrel inside the inn. And when you go out, you notice that Cattail and Buckthorn are kind of waiting in the shadowy area, kind of just leaning back, propped up against a building, chatting. And they kind of subtly wave at you and kind of nod in a certain direction and then head that way.
right.
Well, I'll
Creeps after him,
yeah. Well, after
looking
you,
innocent.
Oliver, lead the way.
Yeah, Oliver will just casually just guide everybody towards this meeting place as best as he can, since he's never been to this location either.
All right. So you follow them, you see them disappear into the reeds, and you follow straight and keep walking in that direction. And suddenly find the reeds clear out in front of you, and you are indeed on a nice little rock, big enough for all of you to just find a spot and sit down. And it kind of feels good because the sun still hasn't quite sunk down below the horizon, so you're still able to feel the warmth on your fur as you're sitting down. And you can
Okay.
hear the evening frogs start kicking in and making a loud, if beautiful, sound in the reeds.
Mm,
But
what a
let's see.
nice
Buckthorn
spot.
starts it out. It's a nice spot, thank you. Mouselings love to hang out here when they're supposed to be doing lessons, so the teachers know to check here. But as an adult at night, usually nobody uses it. I don't want to give you the wrong impression and make you think that they'll kick you out or punish you or anything for this, but, well, you're newcomers, and to be, asking about the woods or exploration is one thing, but to start asking about the, Stumpville mice is quite a different thing, and, being that you're trying to establish the right connections and stuff, well, Creekside mice can be a bit superstitious, and, don't want to give you any bad luck with that.
Perfectly understandable.
I understand you mice had some questions, so before the sun gets too low in the sky, we have some time. What do you want to know? That is, if we can help you. And he kind of glances over at Cattail.
Well, I would think that we would just want to know everything that you're willing to share with us about the Stumpville mice. They're so very secretive, and they seem to have so much, layers of, of mystery and, gatekeeping to even be able to access them. Like, what is their story?
Well, they are quite an unusual breed.
Sure, Heaven's back.
They have their own quirks and rarities, I suppose. They're not too unfriendly once you get to know them. But they've had some bad experiences prior with some of their odd beliefs, I guess you would say, and well, treated differently, and eventually they just decided they liked it that way. They're pretty self-sufficient, and they have some. Well, I'm sure you'll find out if you when you get there. They have some unusual customs, but I don't think I'd be too scared of meeting them. After all, the dessert tonight was delicious, and that's from them.
Hazel's gonna agree wholeheartedly. You say they have odd beliefs. Can't be odder than that cultist beliefs, could they?
Well, I think that it would be along the same lines. I mean, your life revolves around bats. Their life revolves around this delicious treat you had tonight.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah, it could be said that they can be quite unusual or unique. I mean, to put it this way, if there were a whole community of mice like you, and he looks to Marigold, no ill feelings or anything, but other mice might treat you guys a little weird, too, I suspect.
Not for long, Marigold says with a dour expression.
Oh god.
Well, I mean, you may be a bit more bold then, but this is how they dealt with it, is they just kind of closed off. And then over time, they've become odd, whereas other mice like to hang out with other mice. They have created alliances with other things that are not mice. And this has also caused them to be viewed as a little strange.
Sounds like a wood elf versus high elf problem.
Like I said, I don't think you'll have too much of a problem with them. And, well, it sounds like your group is all about solving problems, so I'm sure you'll get along fine with them. You survived Brambly Hedge, after all, and I've heard all about that place, so
Ooh.
Stuffdale can't be that bad.
Do you know how we could possibly find the Jayswood mice? A certain path
Well,
we may follow or markers we should be on the
you don't
lookout for?
find them. They find you. I can't really go into too much detail. It's a matter of secrecy, but well, there are ways to establish meetings with them, and then once that happens, then you either can or can't. So you would know if you've had an invitation to meet with them, and that would be your entrance. But nobody that I know of just goes to their town without meeting a gatekeeper mouse.
When meeting a gatekeeper mouse, is there anything that is it very difficult to get approval to see them? Or, hypothetically speaking here,
Well, sometimes they have some unusual tests of sorts to test to see if you really are who you say you are. It might be a riddle or a task. They usually give you a choice, so it shouldn't be something too impossible. And, well, with your group, I'm sure that you would be able to find a challenge that would work for you. As I recall, their riddles were... And he's thinking for a minute. I'm trying to quite remember. But I think one of their riddles had something to do with water. But you can't tell them I said anything.
Oh no,
Again, they can't know that I even talked to you. I mean, like, and he's just kind of like, I definitely have never been to Jaysmith or talked to any of the mice, and I don't know. You must understand the secrecy, and, well, the superstition here. Personally, I don't see the need for the superstition. They're just strange mice, but we could solve that. That would be amazing. I do think they're not that bad. It's just a misunderstanding, perhaps.
So you would like to see the Stumpville mice, how do I say this? You'd like to kind of resolve the differences between them and Creekside mice?
I don't think it'd be a bad thing
Oh,
to have
no.
them as a possible trade partner, or to have mice be able to visit. I'm not 100% sure behind their reasons for isolation, but, well, they are mice after all, and he looks at Marigold. No offense, but you seem perfectly nice and you're a bit on the strange side, and they're not too different. But I don't know how to convince them, or to convince Creekside. But they do live in Jayswood, so you mentioned there were things you needed to know there. They may be able to tell you what you need to know.
Yes. We were hoping the same thing too. How much do you know about squirrels?
At this, you see Cat Topper Coffee goes, Oh, I've actually seen one!
You've seen one, Creektail?
Oh, well, Yes, it didn't see me, but I was sitting in the forest looking around. I do like to sit and look, and I I saw movement, and I saw it wandering around in the on the forest floor. They are quite unusual creatures, sort of funny looking.
They are kind of funny looking.
We've only seen the
Anything,
ground
I
squirrel. We
knew this
haven't.
squirrel climbed up a tree, and then there was a whole ruckus up there, and it comes tearing down with its mouth like this, and it's being chased by not one, but two birds that are about as big as it was. They're both yelling at it, and then next thing I know, it dives into a hole at the bottom of a tree, and they sit there yelling at it for the next half hour like it's going to answer the door again. I don't think birds are all right in the head.
What color were
Both of
these
them, I
birds?
said that. They were blue.
Ooh.
Yep.
Yes, blue.
I must be honest, I'm a little scared of birds, so I don't go near them either. They were the most brilliant shade of blue. I remember this because I got a feather from one after they left. I kind of quietly crawled over to where it dropped, and I was able to sell it in the market for quite a bit, actually.
Mm.
They said something about making a beautiful decoration or something with it, I don't know. It was such a vivid shade of blue. I almost wished I kept it. I was hungry that day.
I wonder what the squirrel grabbed to make the blue jays so angry.
I'm gonna guess probably acorns.
Ooh. Maybe. But why would the blue jays be upset about that?
Oh, they love nuts. They love acorns and nuts, as well many birds do. We've discovered crows also. Peanuts is another one they really like. So yeah,
It does seem to be. I won't say this for all animals there, but at least for a lot of them, it does seem to be that nuts seem to be the going currency for the forest animals, whereas we do pips or bartering. A lot of them, their life revolves around nuts. So if you're having anything to do with these strange birds, or the squirrels, anything may go better if you just bring them a few. Puts them in a good mood, I think. I know they get an awfully bad one if you take it from them, so I would think the opposite to be true.
Did you all find a large supply of peanuts, like on a farm, or was that kind of a one-off thing with the peanuts?
they were from
Oh, go ahead.
they
Sorry.
were from Brambly Hedge as part of payment. I think it was for the saving the squirrels, wasn't it? Or squirrels, the mice from the squirrel.
Something like
man.
that, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Which
man.
you then use to barter with the crows and earns
Yeah.
the alliance with the crows using peanuts.
We've got some real market opportunities here for venture mouse opportunities, I'll say.
yeah.
So we need
We
to
can-
create the nut market as
Yeah.
well as setting up. Okay.
Yes.
We're gonna create a bat cult, and we're gonna have the nut economy in our grass.
Yeah, we won't go further with that. into the yeah. Yes, there's some opportunities here.
Creek tail.
Because here's the thing, we don't have to. Immediately I thought, we can't give peanuts to all the birds. Maybe we can, but we don't have to. We just need these, like, 4 birds, 3 or 4 birds. We need red and the 3 blue jays, and then that would be pretty powerful.
No. Creek tail, would you like to? I'm thinking about joining these out-of-towners on their little journey. Would you like to go as well?
Read this, he kind of like his eyes widen in shock. It's like, me? You want me to join? You do realize I am no good in a fight.
Yeah, well, you don't have to be good in a fight, but your vast knowledge would be such an immense help to this group.
And Marigold just puts it. Besides, he knows who bats are, as if the whole matter is settled.
I mean, Hazel's not very good in a fight either, but we have Marigold, so, it's all good.
And
And to be
Marigold just
fair-
says that we have, oh man, I can't remember his name. Chicory.
Yes, yes.
I mean, Jerry helped out too in a number of fights, but I mean, okay, sure. I just have a just magic sword I've been carrying around, had no idea what to do with this thing, and I killed the snake. But sure, why not?
And what
we're
about
not-
you, Buckthorn? Would you like to join us as well? Maybe see if there's more fields that could be used for wheat harvesting and the like for Creekside.
I just Buckthorn kind of sighs wistfully. Well, man, I'd love to, but trying to haul in enough wheat so I can make the down payment on one of those nice little mud holes. There's this girl mouse. She sometimes wears a flower
Oh.
behind her ear. They won't even say yes if you don't have a hole. So close, too. I might have one by the end of summer, but I'd love to. And one of the
Well,
other fisher mice might ask her out, and then my chances would be gone. I don't suppose I can.
why don't you? How about the? Okay, so out of character. Does Creekside have some sort of like council or mayor or something? Some kind of leadership?
More like the town elders.
The town elders. Okay. Okay, back in character. Buckthorn, why don't you go with me in the morning to talk to the town elders and see what they think about maybe making some sort of peace, like trade agreement or even travel with the Jayswood mice, and that we could act as the Creekside envoys.
Wow.
We might need to do that probably after we talked with the Jayswood mice because, yeah, Buckthorn just told us like they're all hush hush about it, so it might not be the best idea to talk to like the actual elders, who, yeah, are probably the most superstitious out of all that. That just might get us a little bit of trouble. So it makes more sense if we make some type of peace with the Jayswood first, then be able to make peace with Creekside next.
Yeah, we also might want to ride back in here as victorious conquerors on our bats and not give them the option. We just don't know yet, right? I mean, we don't know yet.
We could, but if Oliver and Buckthorn, who are Creekside towners, who kind of know a little bit about the Jayswood mice anyway, just casually ask and see,
Well,
it would not implicate the out-of-towners.
You have a good point, as well. Sorry, Lotus, because it might give us another bargaining chip that we don't know about yet. Maybe we have an option here that we can develop based on something they need. Figuring out what people need and telling them that we care about what they need has been the greatest mouse power.
Ah, yes, false sympathy.
I mean, we care.
Sort of.
They
We
have
care
to
enough
come
to we care enough to get away from a giant owl that's hunting us, so yeah, we care that much.
We may or may not have led to your town.
Oh, God, yes.
But they don't know that yet.
No.
They will never know.
But yeah. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. It's up to you guys if you think this might be an okay idea to try with the townies talking to the elders about maybe opening up negotiations with the Jayswood mice as we depart, and just opening up at least a back and forth between the two groups.
I think it might be worth a try if you just basically say like, "Hey, it's between Creekside and the Jacewood Mines," and don't lead out of, like, say like out of towners have anything to do with it or not, because I think that might like push them to be like, "Oh, we can't let the out of towners in on this." So if we put it like frame it more like, "Okay, let's try to resolve this once for all," like between just the local communities, they might be more open to that maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, leave you guys out of it. So if anything happens, you guys are still you still have a clean slate with Creekside, and it would just be Oliver and Buckthorn who bear the quote unquote brunt of the responsibility.
Marigold is fine with this.
Buckthorn is
And yeah.
kind of thinking, you know what? I might, with one condition.
Yes.
So, while they may, you and I are from here, and we may have a little pull. If we could get Mama Lily on board.
Mm.
Her husband's one of the elders, and she's the one who cooks. And I know you tasted how good that was tonight.
Mm.
Can you imagine if we had that all the time?
Yeah.
Can you imagine what she could do to the fish if we had that all the time?
Oh my. See, yes.
So I think if we could convince Mama Lily to go in on it, the three of us.
Yeah, we could convince them, like the real woman in charge behind one of the elders. Yes, I think we'd have some pretty good pool.
Plus, mice are usually swayed, Hey, the food will get better.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, she's a great cook, but.
And also for you, Buckthorn, if you come back as the one who, after all these years, reopened trade and tourism between the two groups, I'm sure your crush would just swoon over you. With or without a home.
If I bring back all of that honey, I'll have that hole paid off. You know what? I'll do it.
You'll get all the honey, yes.
But I can't come back empty-handed. If I don't have something to put towards that hole, I'll be in trouble.
Well, and Oliver will just put his paw forward for like a handshake. He says, "You have my promise that no matter what, on my reputation as a Creekside beetle herder, you will not come back empty-handed."
Right, you have at least one beetle.
At the minimum, we can promise. At the minimum, we can promise nuts and bird friends.
Impress the mouse with a bird.
If this works, we're gonna have to find another market to trade our honey, though.
Hey, you know what? We get in with the bee gang, we're good.
This is turning into Mouse Traveler, and it's like we're doing it more here now. Mouseonomics.
Eventually, we'll be selling our mouse kidneys for a truth-telling stone.
Who needs an entire galaxy of planets when just like you're the size of a mouse and the entire planet?
I thought about this today, and this whole place might be like a half acre across that we've traveled. And it's like civilizational on scale. It feels like right now, like whole civilizations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hat tails in the background. Don't want to get eaten. Please.
You won't get eaten. You'll be fine. You'll be able to meet the bird friends, and who knows, maybe they'll give you more of their feathers for more meals. If you treat them nicely, and think about seeing the bats again. Like, you should, from the stories I've heard, you should see what Marigold can do.
Also, surprisingly, throughout their entire journey, not a single mice died.
It's as if you guys have plot armor.
We got really lucky with the snake rolls, though.
We're just really lucky. That's all it is. Like, I'm not attributing that to like
Yeah.
honestly we're cool or anything like that. That's just like we have been extremely lucky. Like I don't know why.
Part of it's
Yeah,
been
we
my
got
dice.
some
I do a
very
lot of
crucial
background
roles.
rolls, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
seriously, like nothing came out all night long, or nothing came out through this whole tunnel. Why?
Time for some new dice, Birdie.
Right? That I have a couple that I'm like, no, those need to go in timeout.
Yeah.
I mean, those dice rolls are just waiting for when your kids do Hero's Journey, so you can just brutalize
Right? Oh goodness.
them.
Okay. So you now have 2 more mice. It is getting dark, so you're probably going to want to head in soon. You now have 2 more. Buckthorn and Cattail. Buckthorn is a harvester. And then Cattail is a mouse nerd. Who's very timid. Will probably not be any help in a fight. But Buckthorn might be. You have agreed to meet up with not today, but tomorrow to meet up with your gatekeeper.
Mm.
So you head to bed, I'm assuming, for the night.
Yes, I think
Or is
once.
there anything else we want to do?
I don't know, caller, is there anything else you want to do?
I can't think of anything else.
Anything we forgot?
Yeah, we'll think about it, when we get into the J's with it. Oh, we should have done that. But for now, I can't think of anything.
Yeah, I think we.
You. Oh, go ahead, Jerry.
No, I was just saying, like, I think we exhausted all the questions we had, and if there was something to do, because I don't remember if we needed any supplies or not, but like I said, I just think off the top of my head, unless someone says they need something, I think we've got everything we have now.
I mean, unless Creekside has some peanuts we could barter for.
Hmm.
I feel like it's more like a Brambley Hedge thing, maybe. So
Yeah, I'm not expecting them to.
Sounds like you guys have ideas for a massive trade route between all the different towns and places.
We have to draw a second map that's a trade route map, and then
We might
it's
have to.
color coded.
Well, we
Yeah.
wanted to make sure that the mice from Greyhouse, who now are at New Farm, were established. We couldn't just drop them there and not have they needed to have some trade going to set them up. So
Oh, forget Greyhouse. I'm making money now. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
we're undercutting
No.
their only export is honey, and
No,
we're
I'm
about to
just
undercut them by setting up their only trade partner with an independent supply.
yeah,
I wasn't here, so there's mice still at Greyhouse, and then there's some mice from Greyhouse
No,
who've
all of the
immigrated.
all the Greyhouse mice moved
All of them.
to Old Barn.
Okay.
They
All
get
of them.
referred to interchangeably. Yeah, you guys caravanned over during the day
Oh,
with
wow.
incredibly lucky rolls. Nothing happened, and you're able to get them all to Greyhouse and get them established, but you
Wow.
haven't quite.
we brought them some of Miss Blossom's cooking and promised them that they would get to experience that if they left Greyhouse, and they all jumped on board.
I wasn't here, so a quick follow-on question. I apologize. Is it going well? Are they okay? I care about my little fake people now. Like, we worked so hard.
So yeah, we established contact with some bees and used, I think, the tablet to go ahead and basically establish a bee trade with them. Yeah, and there's, I think, trade with Brambley Hedge. I'm not sure if that's set up or going to be set up or not, but I think off the top of my head, I think that was it. Is there anything else?
That's where I'm confused. So the
We
mice.
we got a business liaison from Brambley Hedge to help arrange for like a business treaty where we would set up an independent trades but not infringe on their specialties. And then we also had an agreement with Brambley Hedge where they would help get the mice get their feet under them and get used to foraging in the area. And then with the beehive, part of the deal was that honey was going to be one of their specialty exports, and we had actually brought a small sample of honey to this exact colony with the hopes of establishing a honey trade.
Okay.
Although that honey could be traded not to other places as well. For example, they could trade it to Brambley Hedge, or they could trade it back to the Cherry Grove mice as well.
Yeah, and Hazel was very eager to set up because she was a rabbit rider. She wanted to make contact with the rabbits in Newfield to get that system set up for the Greyhouse mice at New Farm, so they would have their own rabbits for collecting things. And then we got the idea about using them as like a Pony Express with delivering mail.
Are they wild rabbits? Like, I mean, they're sapient by our standards, but I mean, that is to say, well, yeah, are they wild? Or did you just like encounter them, or do they have like a community, or they're part of the local ecosystem? And this is near the new barn, the new field.
As I understand
Old
it,
barn.
yes.
Sorry.
There's
Yeah.
near Old Barn, where the Greyhouse
Okay.
mice have now established themselves. As I understand it, there is a community or colony of rabbits that live in Newfield, and we just need to make contact with them. They're supposedly friendly, and we can hopefully make an arrangement with them, similar to the arrangement that Creekside
Actually,
has
on the
with
marsh side
on the
of
marsh side. Okay.
Newfield. So the creekside mice can lead you into the field to
Ah.
find them. The rabbits are not working with anyone. They could potentially be convinced.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that is, that's Hazel's hope, is that she can convince them, being a
And
rabbit
then-
rider, to work
Then
with
the Greyhouse old barn mice would have rabbits.
Imagine the glorious future of the Anti-Squirrel Coalition if we can remove Mr. Olcox from power.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, and that's the
we could
ultimate
accomplish
thing.
so
Is,
much.
yeah, get rid of him, and then they'll be glorious. Yes.
Wow.
If
Okay.
we were able to get
Could we just ride the bees, or are they too small for?
Gotta be too
for our
small, right?
Yeah, they're too. The bees are smaller than mice, so it's like nah.
Well,
What
That
about the
and singing an
bumblebees?
owl, birds are resilient to bees a lot because they're fluff.
Ah, okay. What about?
wow.
Okay, so just to give us a speed boost, what if we encounter the wasp mafia who wants to
Yeah.
take out the
It's
squirrels as well?
it's like a mouse dragon because of the plumage of the owl. Like we have to figure out how to take him down. Wow. Okay. Sorry about the questions. I'm really fascinated by this entire, like, we need one of those like that meme with the crazy guy and like the things of.
Yeah,
of
the conspiracy
I can't
for the
remember what
office.
those charts are called. But yeah, one of those charts. That plus a
I
trade
thought
route
it
chart.
would
We need
honestly
overlays
get
now.
more simplified once we got out here, and then I'm just like, oh my goodness, all the quests are overlapping, and this group needs this, and that group needs that, and how do we?
That's amazing. Okay. All right. Sorry, guys.
It's perfect.
If we do get this rabbit caravan up and running, we really could play Mouse Traveler.
Oh
We
my
could even
gosh.
be in debt.
Yes.
All right.
We've got this.
And here Hazel was thinking that she was going to settle down and live comfortably at Old Barn. Maybe not.
We're sorry, Hazel. Must be done for the good of mouse kind.
Okay. So, you all go to sleep tonight, and it is a mostly nice sleep inside of the little mud hut you're in, the little mud hole. However, you are pretty sure that if you listen close enough, you can hear the sounds of an owl hooing at night.
God dang it. Mr. Olcox! Get off
But I
our
guess it's
lawn!
Hanging out around here now.
So, you wake up. You're safe and sound and snug in a little hole. Lotus and Barley are getting ready for the day. You have a long day ahead of you. What are we wanting to do first?
What would you guys like to do? Would you like Oliver and Buckthorn to go and talk to Mama Mouse, the wife of one of the elders, or?
I think like if Lily's like cooking at the end, I was like we could have breakfast, then talk to her afterwards.
True, we need to do this in like a conspiratorial, secretive way.
I mean, breakfast first, absolutely.
What about
Maybe
second breakfast?
Yeah, maybe it's got some of that sweet goodness.
Okay. Well, you go back into the inn, and unfortunately, you don't smell the same sweet smell from the night before, which would have been amazing. But they do have it smells quite different than fish, but they do have this very thin, very salted, thin strips of fish that they have fried up. They were preserved salted, so the fishy taste is not quite as strong, but they remind you a bit of the snake bacon that you guys had at Old Barn, where it was fried up snake bits. And they are served with a bit of a potato hash and biscuits with probably the best gravy you have ever had in your entire little mouse life, outside of Cherry Grove, because you're pretty sure nothing can beat Mama Blossom's cooking. But biscuits and gravy with, I guess you would say, fish bacon and potato hash.
It feels like they want to make all this like the just homely food that's like in all the other mouse communities, but they're not able to make it because they don't have access to the same ingredients, everything. They only have like fish and other things out there. So if they could, they would just make the same food. But it's like, well, but what we got left is but fish.
Yeah.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I would think Jerry's pretty happy though, being a fisher mouse.
Jerry probably likes it, and Oliver's used to it, but for the rest of you, that is literally all that you've had here. Every meal since you got here was fish.
I get the feeling after about a week it's going to be like, can we have something else?
Do you have anything not fish? Do I need to go hunt something? Snake?
Yeah.
What do the frogs taste like?
All right.
Oh, do they talk to the frogs at all?
That has yet to be determined.
Okay.
I
That's
feel like
the
it's
new
one of those
game
things
that
like we
we'll
have too much on our plate at the moment, so let's ease up on the frogs until we figure out everything else.
But we can have a frog army against the squirrels.
I think if the Jesuit mice have what I think they do, they might have what we need to solve our squirrel problem.
We do need to talk to the burst.
So we'll have our breakfast, I guess, and then we'll see if we can get a word in with Mama Lily, is it?
Yes. Mama Lily is the head cook here. So you all have your breakfast. As the dining room starts to clear out, the kitchen staff starts to clean up, and if you wait long enough, pretty soon you are the only ones left in the room besides the kitchen staff.
Okay. Would you guys like to join Oliver and Buckthorn in this conversation, or do you just want to leave it up to us Shire folk to deal with this?
If we,
I mean,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say you know her better than we do, but unless others disagree.
They already seem so insular. Like, it seems like it would make it so much worse if you brought in outsiders.
Yeah.
I think like Mama Lily is friendly enough, but like this is like a sensitive matter like to her community, so I feel like probably better left to the actual people from the community to discuss between each other than outsiders.
Okay. Just, double checking here. So, Oliver in his Sunday best, will
His
go
best
up to Mama.
overalls.
His best overalls and his best beetle herder clothes he could find that don't have any bites or holes in them. Will come and respectfully bow to Mama Lily and tell her to, tell her that he thanks her for the meal and that it's, of course, best as always, and that he and Buckthorn would like to discuss something very, very important in private with her.
All right. Well, she takes her dish rag and tosses it over her shoulder and says, "Well, make it quick, boys. Dishes don't do themselves." And she comes in the dining room and sees the group and says, "Oh, are they okay to talk in front of, or should we find a more quiet spot?"
I think it's best if we find a more quiet spot to discuss what we have on hand. This is just for us Creekside folk, not those out-of-towners.
Well, tell you what, if you follow that door over there, it leads to my little mouse hole, which is kind of connected to here because it makes it nice, quick, and easy, so I can come and go after dark and not have to worry about being outside for dishes or cooking. Why don't we go sit in my living room and talk?
That sounds splendid.
Okay, it'll be just us because Bramble's out of the house right now, so it'll be just us. But I can talk briefly, and then I gotta get back to them dishes.
If you just allow us just a small moment of your time, we will assist you with your dishes.
Okay. So, Mama Lily leads the way into her living room, and she will not hear of you sitting down without first having a cup of tea.
Oh, perfect tea. Okay, Oliver would gently decline for a couple of times before taking a cup.
Yeah, now, boys, what have you talked about? I hope it's not about my cooking.
Actually, Mama Lily, we are here to discuss a proposal that will not only improve your wonderful, splendid cooking, but would also help all of Creekside as well.
Oh, and what would this be?
What was it that the Jays with mice were? Maple, right? Maple syrup?
Maple syrup.
Okay, gotcha. Well, you know how you have that delicious syrup that comes every once in a blue moon for those special meals, those special, delicious, wonderful meals that you produce?
Oh, yes, I do. And you do too, Buckthorn. She points, and Buckthorn kind of blushes. You brought me my last bit of it, a couple acorns full. What was it, last week? I so appreciate it.
Well, and Oliver will just give a side eye to Buckthorn, hopefully without him noticing. What if we could establish a trade route where we could regularly have that syrup given to us in trade for, I don't know, let's say fish with suppliers of said maple syrup.
Oh, you think you could talk to them mice into being civil and proper now, do you?
Well, I don't know about civil and proper, but maybe if we can all come to, I don't know, put aside our differences for the greater mouse kind and become a more peaceful community between the two of us, we could be able to help each other out with certain things.
Would be good, I guess, if we all got along better. All of us being mice children anyhow.
Yeah, we all came from the same, oh god, mouse religion, same mouse mother. Why don't we should all the
Bat,
children
Virgo,
should
mouthing
come
bat
together.
at you in the background.
She appears in the background. This is not
Just
gonna.
hear
This
her.
is not gonna help bring about the advent of the bat ways. If she keeps doing
Well,
that.
I wouldn't mind having I wouldn't mind having this maple syrup, and the Outlanders have promised me some fine honey. Just imagine what I could do with both of those in my pantry.
Yeah.
There is also rumor, but you would have to make good on this truth without my husband finding out, because if he finds out, I have heard tell from a couple mice that they have spices in them woods. Not like the kind we find here in the swamp. Not like the kind we get from them stuffy brambly hedge mice. Real good spices. Hard to find ones.
Really?
But I wouldn't give to cook up a fish in some of those. I tell you
I'm-
what. You can convince them mice to give to be willing to trade us honey and spices. I will drag my husband by his ear to the council and make them vote for it. But you have to get a trade agreement first, not an they're thinking about it, but I need a yes ma'am. Do you understand, boys?
I think we could do that, but what should we offer them in return? You
Well,
know that
outside of
they will
fish,
ask what we could do for them.
you know we are very, very good at our weaving skills. Why, we could weave them practically anything. I dare say if our weavers put their minds to it, and they can weave out of anything from fresh grass to wheat stalks to any number of different things. And, well, I mean, we could make them all sorts of stuff for them out of weaving, or they could have fish, or, well, I'm sure some of those adventuring mice, they've been places. I'm sure they could come up with something that we could maybe, help as leverage, work out a trade agreement with us, and oh hey, we'll get buddy with someone else for you to convince them to give you something. After all, if we go to them stuffy brambly hedge mice for those mice up in Jacewood, I'm sure we could talk them into giving them something. They never turned down a way to make a buck or a quick deal. But we'd only do that for a guarantee on our syrup and our spices.
Well, what if we bring those out of towners in on this? I heard that they're from Brambly Hedge. Would you be interested in meeting them and maybe discussing this a little bit further with them, seeing what they might be able to offer?
Well, I'll tell you what, Oliver. You and Buckthorn both, I know your mama's raised you right. So if you say them Outlanders are trustworthy, I'll trust you on this.
Oh, I'm sure that they're trustworthy. Like, Nobody untrustworthy would come to Creekside.
Oh, some of them brambly hedge mice. I don't know.
Oh,
Not Lotus.
well,
She's a
maybe.
sweet darling, but some of them mice over there,
Yeah, Lotus is kind of kind, but I heard that they had some hard living over there. That's why that's why they're like that. They're hard to come to trust but after a while, they're the most loyal and trustworthy mice you could ever put your faith into.
Well, enough chatting, boys. I best get back to them dishes. The water only stays hot for so long, and they don't wash themselves. So, I wish you luck on this, lovely day for a walk in the woods, isn't it? Wherever you
Yes.
said you were going. And that she kind of picks up the teacups and takes them into the kitchen, and then... Do you need me to escort you out to the dining room, or you find your own way?
We can find our own way, but as promised, I will help you with the dishes for just even just a few moments of your time. Buckthorn, would you like to go and maybe see what those out-of-towners what they're doing at this moment? And I'll come
And
join you
Buckthorn at
shortly.
this point nods in agreement. And shuffles out to the dining room to go talk to Pearl, Hazel, Marigold, Poppy, and Jerry, and the others.
So I like to think that Hazel overheard the, kerfuffle about dishes needing to be washed, and that as soon as Mama Lily and the other two were out of sight, she kind of rallied everybody else and was like, "Hey, let's go help wash dishes." So is anybody else on board with washing dishes
I
with
can
Hazel?
almost picture Marigold just having been eavesdropping on that whole thing because she's muttering about the bats. She's like up there. She goes, "Oh, they're coming. Let's go sit over here." I didn't hear a word of it, but maybe.
Yeah.
All right. So, I just forgot his name.
Oliver would just help the dishes.
Buckthorn.
And, yeah, Buckthorn was leaving.
Buckthorn filled you in on the information, and after helping with mouse dishes, Mama Lily's really, really happy for the help, and she gave you all an extra biscuit or two to take with you today. Stick in your pocket.
Yes, bonus rations.
And send you mice on your way. It is now mid to late morning.
Did Buckthorn fill them in on the
Yeah.
discussion? Okay.
I'm going to say he filled everyone in on the discussion and the deal that if you can get the Jayswood mice to agree to trade syrup and spices, they can have their own conditions, but you have to get them to a point where they would agree to do it. Then she will go to the elders.
Ooh.
And tell them what she needs done.
Sounds good. All right. So what do we want to do then?
Well, don't we have to meet up with our contact?
Yeah,
Our
the gatekeeper or whatever it is that we're supposed to meet. But when was it?
Yeah.
When were we supposed? No, we said same time. So it's in the evening or just late afternoon we're supposed to meet. Yeah.
Mid to late afternoon, yeah.
Okay. So we have a little bit of time, but not a lot.
And it takes, was it 2 hours, I think, to travel over?
Would Oliver be able to go to the market and trade his pole for maybe a bow and just a few arrows?
I would think so.
I was thinking maybe just 3 arrows would be sufficient trade for a 6-inch pole? Or, okay, sorry, mouse terms, a 6-foot pole?
So your pole, that's considered like a heavy weapon?
Yeah.
Okay, and a bow. So I'm looking at prices right now to see if they'd be in the same. You could trade your pole for a bow. And the vendor, because he knows you might be willing to toss in a couple extra arrows. But you might need to acquire extra arrows down the line.
That is perfectly fine. Just a small quantity of arrows with a splendid creekside made bow would suit Oliver perfectly. I don't think Oliver would do well in physical combat, but I don't know.
In fairness, none of us. Actually, Randall's he's pretty crap hot on about beating people up. He's pretty good, and then Marigold just like calls upon the power of the gods.
She brings down bat lightning.
But really, if we're talking about physicality, Randall's pretty cool, but we're all mouse here.
Are you talking about my character?
Jerry was the one that beheaded a snake.
Jerry. I don't know why I said Randall. I'm sorry.
Hazel is very good at diving for cover.
Yeah, Pearl's not even good at that. She just starts shaking and freaking out whenever she's scared.
This is coming from the same mouse where when we encountered a rat, she decided to go ahead and kill them all, and just like finish them off when we got them down.
Oh yeah, no, out of fear. Yeah.
They're gonna come back and get me.
Yeah.
Like Pearl doesn't like physical violence, but when she ever gets into it, she'll finish it.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think like we can take like stuff like snakes, rats, and even squirrels, honestly. But it's just like fighting Mr. Olcox. That's the thing we need an army for. But honestly, at this level, we could like, I could fight like I take one squirrel maybe. If there's 2 squirrels, I need backup. If there are 3, we might be in trouble. One of
the really hard metagame things I've forced myself not to do is to look at how many hit points an owl has. I'm not gonna let myself do it. But I'm dying. I want to know, like, is it 30? Is it 60? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't want to know. I don't want to fight one. I'm just going to assume I can't.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm doing. If I am not going to metagame and still say that fire solves every problem.
Mouse fires, though, do not necessarily solve very many problems.
That is true.
I've had a lot of mice fail the Mausritter game in this house over this season.
Oh, God.
They did not make it. Anyways.
May mice God rest their souls.